and share my screen. Oh my goodness, remember how I said that she can let herself in? She did. Hang on, I'm gonna shut my door.
We want to see some downward dog.
I'm so sorry. Okay, now I'm gonna share my screen. Can you see that yet?
Nope, not yet.
Newbie over here, sorry. Why isn't it coming up? Okay, here we go.
Wait for it.
Wait for it, wait for it. The little green bar is coming across the bottom. There we go.
Victory!
Victory! Except I can't see it. Okay, there we go. Okay, building your routine, finally. So, on the agenda for today, welcome everybody. You can do this right now. Thank you for being here. I know that designing your own routine and getting into an exercise routine can be intimidating. I want you to feel totally comfortable in today's class and reach out anytime you have follow-up questions or anytime throughout the class that you want a little bit more clarity, or even if it's questions specific to your routine now. Then we're going to go over some barriers, how we can maybe overcome them, components of a routine. We're going to talk about the basic foundation, and then talk about how that foundation can be built into specifically your routine, and then save time for questions at the end. So why don't we exercise? What are some of your excuses or your reasons for not exercising? You can type them in the chat too, if that's easier. Okay. Not hearing anything. Hope, is anything in the chat?
I just put in the chat, my excuses are that I'm too tired and not enough time.
Oh, perfect. You hit two of the top excuses that we're about to cover. So the number one excuse is too tired. So we all have hectic lives and a huge list of to-dos and very little time to just relax. However, it is important to keep in mind that the American Heart Association recommends 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise each week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercise each week. An hour workout is 4% of your day, and that sounds harsh, but think about a 30-minute workout being only 2% of your day. If you think about it, where you can build and take away, it sometimes makes it a little bit easier to fit that routine in. Also, exercise helps you sleep better and gives you more energy. So maybe if we started adding more exercise, we can not be as tired. One last thing to note is that new studies are coming out that are showing only 5-minute walks. Simple little 5-minute walks, even a couple times throughout your day or a couple times throughout your week, have been shown to significantly decrease your risk for cardiovascular disease. So let's get us energy and start exercising. The next most popular excuse is all or nothing. They say unless they can work out for 3 hours, 3 hours at the gym, 7 days a week, and only eat kale and crazy other diets, then it's not worth it. Or they'll start on Monday. Keep in mind that this should be a lifestyle change. Incorporating exercise into your day or into your week should be built into your habits. It's much more likely to be a lasting habit if you can build it in and just add a little bit. Something is better than nothing. The next excuse is they hate the gym, or they don't want to be at the gym, or especially with COVID variants and other, like flu season even, going to the gym can be intimidating. And then when you get there, what do we do? Well, we're going to talk about that later, but You don't have to go to the gym. You can do home workouts. You can do online classes. You can use the beautiful outdoors that is Vermont. There are so many options that we can discuss and explore. Next, I'm not seeing results. Give it time. Your body is where it is because of a lifetime of choices. Also, the set point theory. The body uses hunger hormones, behavior changes, and other physiological mechanisms to try to maintain exactly where you are. You're comfortable, your body is comfortable where you are right now. Or maybe it's not. But we're like genetically wired to plateau, and that's okay. There are ways around it. There are simple fixes, and we will talk more about that in a little bit. Also, keep in mind that there is the total daily energy expenditure. So your total daily energy expenditure is broken down into a couple of different components. We can get super sciencey, we can break this down a lot more, but basically you have your basal metabolic rate, and this is the number of calories that your body burns at rest without doing anything. So if you were to just sit in a chair or lie on the floor with your eyes closed and do nothing all day, your body would burn about 60 to 70% of your total daily energy expenditure just by doing nothing. Another 10 to 30% can come from physical activity, which is very exciting. And then another 10% for the thermic effect of food, which is really cool because you burn calories while you eat and after you eat. Going back to physical activity and an exercise routine, building muscle and improving your strength increases the number of calories that your body burns at rest. That's because muscle is metabolically more active than fat. So that's really cool. Exercise more and your body burns more, if that meets your needs, if your goal is to lose weight. So what should we do? We need to think about why we're training. Are you training to feel stronger? Are you training to feel more comfortable? Are you training because you have pain or discomfort? Are you training because you want to prevent disease? What are some of the reasons that you all are training or are interested in designing your own routine?
To be more healthy.
Yay, okay. To be more healthy. Anybody else?
For mental health.
Oh my gosh, mental health is amazing. Yes. Endorphins make you happy. Exercise creates endorphins and reduces stress. It's highly recommend, but I guess that's why we're here. So when you're designing your routine, it's important to determine your situation. Think about your time, think about your location, think about your experience level. If you have an hour that you can spend specifically on physical activity every single day, that's amazing. If you have a partner, 3 kids, a dog, 2 jobs, and no robot butler, maybe you have 30 minutes every other day, and that's okay too. We have to, like I said, we have to build this into your current lifestyle. Maybe we make modifications to add more later. Maybe we make modifications because you've started too strong and it's not sustainable. Pick a starting point, commit to it, and we can go from there. Okay, so now what exercises should I do? The big 3 exercises when it comes to weightlifting, bodybuilding, all of those things are a squat, a bench, and a deadlift. And I firmly believe that these should be the foundation of every exercise routine. But don't worry, we're not all bodybuilders. I'm certainly not a bodybuilder. We're not all crazy weightlifters and strength training people and all of that stuff. And our experience level might not make these activities safe. So back it up. Think about the foundations. Does a squat need to have a barbell on your back? No, absolutely not. Could a squat be a body weight squat where you just air squat and sit down? Or maybe it's up downs. You get up and down from your chair 10 times. That's squatting. Or maybe that hurts your knees and you need to do a wall sit. Use a nice flat wall behind you, bring your knees down to 90 degrees, and you've created your own version of a squat. Just think of these exercises as a foundation. If you were to walk into a studio right now, and I'll send these out to you later, but to do a full body assessment, we would start with a body weight squat. So depending on your situation, what we just went through, either stand up, sit down, or a wall sit. We would do single leg balance. How comfortable are you on one foot? And I encourage everybody, maybe we can stand up and do a 10-second or 15-second balancing act. Maybe. Well, I'm going to do it. Standing on one foot and then switching and standing on another foot. If you notice a discrepancy, or if you notice that you're not able to hold a single leg stance for 30 seconds on both sides evenly, maybe that's a goal. Next, we would look at plank, your core strength. That is front and back core. Maybe you can't do a traditional plank, or maybe you can't do the plank that you envision that you want to be doing, and that's okay. Again, remember your starting point. You can go on your palms and your feet. You can drop down to your forearms. You can drop down to your knees. Variety of different ways to make a plank. Additionally, you can do a wall plank. If you don't want to get on the floor at all, that's fine. You're still engaging your core and focusing on your muscles. So far we've covered squats, which is quads and glutes. Single leg balance, which especially if you get into the front and back, you can get more hamstring activation there. That also covers the proprioception in your feet, which is really great to help you prevent a fall later in life, or even in the icy roads of Vermont. Planks, which I said is full core. Then we move to more upper body. So a push-up is a great way to test your chest and shoulder exercises, or chest and shoulder strength. Again, modify as necessary. Do you need a wall push-up? Do you want to do a push-up on the ground with a weight on your back? That's your starting point. And then a row. So a row is focusing on your back exercises. And this can be a bent over row. If you have a bench or a chair, it's this motion right here, row. And you can do it standing. If you have weights in your house, or even just body weight, think about, we'll get into the biomechanics in a second, but relaxing your shoulders away from your ears, engaging the muscles on your back, and pulling your hands straight back. You should feel all of these muscles right here fire up. Row. Now that we have our foundation, now that we have our exercises, you can continue to think about the major focus points: quads, hamstrings, core, chest, back. And there are different exercises that we can get into. I feel like I'm flying through this because I want to save some time to get it more into it. We're going to go back to that slide. Now you have your exercises. How many do I do? This goes back to, I'm sorry, does anybody have any questions right now with the exercises that I just flew through? Okay, so now that you have your exercises, go back to your situation to determine the number of reps and sets that you want to do. If our goal is to burn maximum calories, you want to do higher repetitions with lower rates. Higher repetitions, lower weights. That's going to increase your heart rate even more to help you burn more calories throughout the workout. If your goal is to maybe increase your muscle, then you could do higher weights, lower reps. If you want to just improve health, or if you are completely overwhelmed by the thought of trying to do math when you're working out at the same time, keep it simple. Do 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Keep it very simple. If you are new to exercise, I recommend starting with 3 sets of 10 reps and see how you feel. Pick 4 different exercises, create your own little circuit. That's circuit is a circuit and a workout. 3 sets, 10 reps of those 4 exercises and see how you feel. That's your starting point for today. Now we get into more fun stuff. So no gym, no problem. That's fine. One of the barriers is that we don't want to go to the gym, or we're scared to go to the gym, or when we get there, we don't know what to do. Remember? So we start with squat. It doesn't seem like we have a super large interest in going through a workout, but I would like to go over some of the safety measures of all of these exercises. So this is a routine that you could easily do at your house, modify as necessary, and if you're interested in modifications, please feel free to reach out and we can talk about injuries or anything like that. But start with squats. Now when you're squatting, you can see me over here. When you're squatting and it's just your body weight, you want to try to keep your shoulders over your hips, your knees over your ankles. So sit straight down into a chair, and wherever you go, you don't want to be hunched over. Shift your knees back down. So when you look down, you can still see your toes. If you can't see your toes, your butt's not back far enough. Push your butt back, and then try to stay open through your chest. When I first started, I kept my namaste hands at my chest because that helped me open. Or if you're doing this at home, putting a broomstick on your back or a rod also helps open your chest to create more mobility. The goal is to try to go down to 90 degrees at your knees. That might not be accessible, and that's totally fine. Start, like I said, either sliding down the wall, or maybe you add a pillow or something to a chair to lift it up to help you sit all the way down and then stand all the way up. Next, we have push-ups. We already kind of went through some of those modifications. Things to keep in mind: engaging the core. Wherever you are, whether you're on your feet or your knees or on a chair or whatever, you want a nice straight line between your shoulders, your hips, and your knees. So if you're here, lean all the way back. Again, draw your shoulders down away from your spine. Hug your elbows into your ribs and go down until you feel comfortable, and then push yourself back up. Also, things to keep in mind, unless you're doing a wall push-up, which if you feel unsafe, you can step closer to the wall. The floor is only going to be like 6 inches away. You're not going to get hurt. Turn your head to the side. Don't fall on your face. They're too pretty. Next, we have walking lunges. So for walking lunges, you can see me over here. Again, think about 90-90. Step forward, all the way down. We have 90 at the hip crease here and 90 at the knee here. Again, shoulders over hips, come back up, and you take your next step. I won't do it because of the wall. Next, we have the dumbbell row. You can use a milk jug. You can use a water bottle. If you have weights in your house, that's super convenient. But when you're thinking about your row, whether you're standing up or bending down on the side of your couch, which isn't ideal, or on the side of a coffee table, think about a nice flat back, pulling straight back, keeping your elbow in towards your ribs the whole time. Then we have plank. We already talked about that. And then jumping jacks. Get your heart rate going. Are there any questions about any of these exercises, or does anybody have any concerns that they want to bring up? Oh, Hope.
I'm just looking in the chat to see if anybody is gonna type anything. That's all.
Okay.
Nothing's coming up.
Okay, so what about cardio? I definitely can't neglect cardio. Remember what I said at the beginning about the American Heart Association recommending 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise? To figure out where you are. If you're not at moderate intensity, that's okay. Do what you can do and maybe set a goal for someday in the future. I'm going to do 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise in 1 week. Cool. If you're already at that, think about adding on and maybe think about mixing it up. You don't want to get bored. The workout that's going to work for you is one that you enjoy. And again, we're talking about lifestyle changes and complete healthy habits, not just an exercise that you can try one day right now and then never do it again. Okay, so now we're going to put it all together. We have our exercises, we have our sets and reps, we have some modifications. Still feeling a little lost? Maybe that's okay. We have a couple of different templates that I am so happy to share to you. You can type your email in the chat, or I can just post these later. They are all over the internet. Some of them get way more complicated than they need to be, and some of them are perfect for you. So I invite you to explore a bunch of different options. Here's one. This one is a little bit more simple, and I like the way it's lined out. I forget what it says on here. But I like the way that this one was lined out because it left a whole lot of blank space. Fill in some exercises, don't fill in some exercises. It leaves you room to skip days. Just feel like it's more inviting. If you don't want to write anything out, that is totally fine. There is a sample routine that I can share the link for in just a second. But there's tons of sample routines online. One of the biggest things to focus on when you're going through a sample routine, nothing should be painful. Nothing should be pinching or pulling. You might feel some discomfort depending on where you are, but Nothing should be painful. There's a difference between pain and discomfort. Also, note any injuries. Sometimes people forget about old injuries, and I often encourage my clients to write down anything that has hurt in the past or anything that they're cautious of in their body right now. Maybe they have a knee injury that they're getting over, but you walk into the gym and there's people there, or you're trying to get into an exercise and you want to just fight through it. No, don't do that. Give your body time to recover. Recognize that you have a knee injury and plan around that. Additionally, you can't outtrain a bad diet. So remember that food is fuel and food is going to help fuel your workout. Hope put together some fantastic resources already about what to eat when you're training and what to eat before, during, and after a workout. We also have some blog posts if you're interested. Listen to your body and also try to feed your body the fuel that it needs to reach your exercise goals. Are there any questions on the sample routines that we just went through?
I have a question. This is Hope.
Please.
Are there any apps that you recommend for laying these out?
There are tons and tons of apps. I tried a couple of different ones. You're talking about specifically for strength training?
Yes.
I would have to look. I know a bunch of them have free ones. So I like the Peloton app, even if you don't have a Peloton. They offer yoga, they offer cardio, they offer strength training. All of those have their own routines. And I do encourage variations in your workout. So don't do strength training every single day, especially if you're new to it. Don't go for a long run every single day, especially if you're new to it. Your body's going to not like that. I am hesitant to talk more about apps right now because I'm not sure which ones are free and which ones are paid for, but I will go back and make a list of all of the ones that I tried and share them in this chat.
Thanks.
Yeah, sorry about that. Any other questions? Oh, yes, we have a hand up. Victoria.
Yes. Hi, Hope. Great. I have a question. Is this recording going to be available after we finish this meeting, just for future reference if we ever want to go back and rewatch it or, take a look at it again? Are we able to see it somewhere?
I'm having a really hard time hearing you. Can you try saying that again?
Are you going to save this recording somewhere so we can rewatch it sometime later?
I think she's asking if we are going to be able to share the recording somewhere that she can watch it later.
Yes, of course. Okay, thank you. Yes, I will share the recording in the ambassador chat, and I can also I can put it on YouTube and share the link to you.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Looks like I have a bunch of links to share, so I'm excited. Are there any other questions? No. Okay. Are there any exercises that people are excited to try? Okay. Well, because this is an exercise class, very excited. Why don't we have everybody get up and choose a squat modification of their choice. You are all welcome to turn on your cameras if you'd like. I'd love to see your faces. Ooh. Yay! Oh, I'm so happy. Okay. So squat modifications, we have wall sit, we have a chair sit to stand, or we have body weight squats. We are going to do 10. So wherever we are, our feet are about hip width distance apart. Especially if you have hip injuries, turn your toes out slightly. Pick a comfortable spot for your hands, whether it is hands at your heart, hands on your hips, or maybe hands behind your head, fingertips by your ears. Inhale and exhale, sinking your hips down nice and low. Push your butt straight back. So maybe lift up through your toes because you want to keep your weight in your heels and rise. Down and rise. 2, You have 8 more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 more, nice and slow. Can you look down and see your toes? 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, we did it. Okay, now we're gonna keep going. We still have more time, so I'm excited. Next, let's try that single leg balance. Down through the 4 corners. These are my yoga cues coming out. 4 corners of your left foot. That's just under your big toe, just under your pinky toe, and the 2 back corners of your heel. Lift your right knee. Doesn't need to come higher than your hip. Find a nice steady spot on the ground. Focus there. Remember to breathe through this. If balance is an issue, sometimes putting your finger on your belly button helps. I know it sounds weird, but that's a nice little trick. And switch. Put your right leg down, grounding through the 4 corners of your right foot. Lift your left knee straight up. You're at a 90-degree angle with your left hip. Trying to keep hips left to left, level, left to right. Don't worry, I'm watching the clock, so we're still going here. Play with arm variations.
Feels really different doing with shoes on as opposed to in yoga when you do it with no shoes.
Doesn't it? You have 5 more seconds to get to another thing if you want to challenge yourself and rest. You can try doing a single leg balance on a pillow, which really throws off proprioception. All right, so that balance, when you two are really, really good at it, we're going to make it even harder. That's what exercise is. We're adding on. Go back to your right foot, ground through the 4 corners, kickstand your left foot. So maybe just lift your toe. You can't see my foot there, but my foot's lifted. Keep your shoulders over hips, and you're going to reach forward with your left hand. Any amount hinging at the hips, and rise all the way up. Reaching straight forward, rising all the way up. If you want to make it even more challenging, pick a spot on the ground, reach all the way down, rise all the way up. We have 1 more on this side, and then we'll switch sides. All the way down, rise all the way up. And by adding in the reach, you really incorporate a lot more of your hamstring and your glutes. Left leg, extend your right foot. Like I said, you can't see my foot, but it's there, I promise. And straight forward, rise all the way up. I don't know if I'm doing it, but I'm trying to keep my spine nice and spine line. So head over base of your spine, shoulders over hips, even when you lean. 2 more this time. If you want to reach all the way to the ground, go for it. Last one. All the way up. And for our grand finale, I'm going to tip this camera down. We're going to try a 30-second plank. So any variation, you can be on your hands, you can be on your elbows, you can be a high plank, a low plank, wherever you are. Engaging the core the whole time, giving people a minute to get set up. Shoulders on hands under shoulders, and go. So nice long spine, slight lift, pulling your belly button towards your spine, engaging the core, remembering to breathe. These are always fun. And if you get bored in planks, I always get bored in planks. But what do you think about? You can add in some feet touches. Tap your toes side to side, and maybe tap your elbows or your shoulders. That makes it even harder. We are almost there. Think. Anybody shaking? Yep. 5 more seconds. So remembering to breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, relax. After a nice plank, it's always fun to do a child's pose. Bring your hips to heels, extend your arms straight out in front of you. We're doing up dog, so you can just stretch out your spine. Again, you're at home or you're at the office, and you're committed to doing a few little bits of movement right here. Make it your own and listen to your body and do what feels good. Look at that. We've already exercised. Oh my gosh, what does your shirt say? Kim. Push-up, planks, and PAs. That's jazzercise. Oh my gosh. How fitting. Well, I think that we ended on a very strong note. I'm very happy with it. If anybody has follow-up questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. I love this stuff. I hope that you saw that in this presentation, but I'm happy to discuss anything. Have a beautiful day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Ending on a very strong note, huh?